Hey everyone, today we'll be going to show you guys how to actually set up your Unreal Engine assets and migrate it to Unity. We're using an automation plugin. So to do that, what we're gonna do here is firstly we have to make sure that our Unreal Engine 5 version is we're at the latest version of our Unreal Engine 5. So right now we are at Unreal Engine 5.3.1. This actually just released a few days ago. Actually yesterday. So yesterday night. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be you have to make sure that you're at this version just to make sure that the plugin works. Otherwise, if you're in a different version or an earlier version, or latest version, you might end up, or the plugin might end up not working. So you have to make sure that you're in the right version. So in this case, I'm at the latest version for this plugin. So next thing is that I will be providing a project called Unity Migrate Exporter. So basically, this exporter already has the plugin for you. It's already set up. I already made it for you. All you have to do is extract this one. So um, once you have this folder right here, so in order to get this, you might have to right click and then press extract to get the Unity Migrate Exporter. And once you have this one, then you can start opening the project and then making sure, like I said, that you're in the 5.3.1. Otherwise, it's not gonna compile properly. So you have to make sure that you're in this project version so that it compiles properly. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and go to my Unity exporter, Unity Migrate exporter. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. So let's just wait for this to load. Voila. All right, great. So it loaded. So a good confirmation that your project loaded is that you will see the plugin already popping out in the menu. So in here you can see Unreal to Unity plugin. So you can basically just directly export out the scene that you're seeing right now in Unity. But before we do that, we're not gonna export this out. We're gonna export a dedicated environment that we created from scratch. So what you guys are gonna do basically is you guys have to basically go to your Google Drive. So I'm asking you guys to go ahead and migrate as much current products that we have in Unreal Engine, migrate that in Unity. But I'll show you an example how that works. So say example, I give you guys access to the plugin itself. So I'm gonna go ahead, no, sorry, the hard drive itself. So I'm gonna go to G Drive right here, Google Drive. Give me a moment. So just opening this one. Okay, so say example, I'm gonna give you access to the Google Drive. What you will do is you will get to this folder right here called the Polypix, and there's Polypix and Unreal Engine Store. So basically, all of the assets that we have currently in Unreal Engine is basically this is basically the data hard drive of all the things that we have currently online. So what we're gonna do is transfer all of these files and migrate them to Unity properly. So say example, you guys just downloaded an environment that you're going to migrate in Unity. So in this case, I have an example already. So I think I downloaded the right one already. I think it was stylized somewhere. Stylized Cave Temple. So since I already downloaded Stylized Cave Temple, you could try to download anything else other than Stylized Cave Temple. So just for this demo, I'll show you guys how to um, migrate the Stylized Cave Temple to Unity and optimize it properly for Unity, and all the needs before, or all the preparations before you migrate to Unity. So since I already downloaded the Stylized Cave Temple, the next thing that you're gonna do is basically go to your Google Drive, or to your drive where you downloaded unit no to your drive where you downloaded the Stylized Cave Temple, or if it's not the Stylized Cave Temple, or where you downloaded the the project files that we have here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go here to downloads, not there, PC, D drive, downloads. So in this case, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my downloads. Where's that? Yeah, this is my downloads. Okay. So the next thing is I'm gonna go to my Stylized Cave Temple. So as you can see, I already have it extracted in here. So you just have to right click and extract, and it will pop out a folder for you. Now when you open this up, you will be granted, or you will be shown a project like this. But now this project is outdated because we recently, last night, 5.3.1 just released. So you will have to open this project first and migrate it on another project. So to do that, I'm gonna go ahead and first I'm gonna go open this project, the Stylized Cave Temple, making sure that it is up to date in the latest version 5.3.1. So you have to make sure that the assets that you're trying to get is also at the same version in Unreal Engine as the Unity exporter project in Unreal. So in this case, there isn't any difference or any major changes. It's just that it's just a new version, and that's pretty much it. So I just have to make sure that everything that we have here is at the same version of the exporter. So since like we're already using, if you go here, we're already using 5.3.1. The next thing to do after this is just go ahead and close this for now. Now the next thing is I'm going to go ahead and go to Stylized Cave Temple and go to Content, and then we have to go and copy the Stylized Cave Temple itself. Now we're not going to take the folders here. No, we're going to need to make sure that we are at the Content folder. We're going to copy the Content folder, and we're going to paste it where our Unity Migrator exporter project is, and then go to Content and then paste it from there. Great. Now once you got the Stylized Cave Temple up your Unity Migrate exporter, you're going to need to go to the main folder, and you're going to go ahead and reopen it again. So we're going to wait for that, and I really hope we get the assets that we need to migrate. Great, awesome. I'll dismiss this for a minute. So you got the Stylized Cave Temple. Check if the maps is there. Perfect, it's there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to double click the Stylized Cave Temple, because this is the map that we want to migrate in Unity. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Okay, great. Now the project just loaded. I have to skip through because it took a good few minutes before it actually loaded. So now that the project loaded successfully in this separate project from migration, you can see that it's working properly now. And the next thing that we're going to do is that we have to make sure that every single asset in this scene has proper collisions, and that's what we're going to do. So as you can see, every single thing here has collisions. It's really important that everything has proper collisions. And you might have to get rid of, if ever you have particle effects, you might need to get rid of that, as it does not translate properly in Unity. So you're going to need to get rid of that. So I'm going to go ahead and go to particle effect, or just select one of these particle effects. So that's finished. Alright, great. So once you're done selecting that one, then the next thing that we're going to do is basically making sure that all the assets have proper collisions. You can also try to view the collisions in this right here, the visible collision or player collisions. So as you can see, all of it, or even majority of it, has proper collisions, which is good. We have to make sure that all of the objects have collisions. So I'm going to go ahead and go to status cave temple, meshes, and make sure all of it has collisions. So to check if your asset has collisions, just go to show and go check the simple collision box. Now we can see that it has collision, which is good. Now you will have to do this in every single mesh right here, just checking if everything has collisions. Now I'm very confident that every single object in here, or every single object in this scene, has proper collisions. So since we are the creators of this asset pack, or I was the one who actually did the checking. I am definitely confident that every single asset in this scene has some collisions. So the next thing that I'm going to do now, once you check everything having collisions, you're going to go ahead and go to Unreal to Unity, and then you have to make sure to convert landscape to static meshes as well. Or actually, do not press this instead, just go directly to export and it will also do that for you. So I'm going to go ahead and click export in here. And now we are into the Unreal to Unity 1.3.2 settings. Now in here, I'm just going to use the shaders. What kind of shaders do we need? So I'm going to go ahead and set this up. 3 instances, so create a game object per instance. Interesting. So in this case, I would like to use the HDR render pipeline because it's much more standard for PC quality assets. So I'm going to use the high definition render pipeline for now. I'm not going to use the URP. I want to use the HDRP. So I think the only thing that you're going to set, or you're going to change in this settings, is just making sure that this right here is at HDRP, which is HD, or higher definition render pipeline. So that's the only thing, really. The next thing that's going to happen is that we're going to press OK. So just wait for it. It might take some time to load. So right now it's getting all the assets in this scene and exporting it as a Unity project file. So it might take some time to translate all the assets and export every single object here, and making sure that it works in Unity automatically. Export complete. For URP and HDRP, you need Unity 2021 minimum. Do not mix built-in URP or HDRP exports into the same folder. Don't save the current scene because the export process modifies the asset. So like this message says, do not save anything in the Unreal Engine editor right now, as it will get affected in the Unity editor. So what we're gonna do is once we press OK, is we're going to export, or not, sorry, we're going to exit without saving, just to be safe. So I'm gonna press OK, and I'm gonna go ahead and as you notice, we're gonna go ahead and do not save this. Just press don't save. Just get out of it. And now we're gonna find that folder where they exported that. So usually you can find that in your documents folder, and you will find it where it is. So I guess it was here somewhere. You should find it somewhere. Maybe here. So now we can see Unreal to Unity, as you see here. So now when we open this up, this is where it exported majority of our project files earlier. So like I said, you have to go to your local disk C, and then go to, once you get to your local disk C, go to Unreal to Unity. That's where it migrated all the projects or export out. And now it's a complete Unity project now. So if you go to Assets, and we go to Scenes, we should be finding ourselves, let's see here. There you go. So once you go to Unreal to Unity in local disk C, Assets, if you scroll down, you'll find a scene file. As you can see here, this is basically the executable project file that when you open it. So now let's go and press this one. Fun. So it says your project was last saved with a different version, was Unity. C drive, Unreal to Unity, that was the saved project is 2021-8 F1, does not match with the launched editor. That's fine. Just hit continue. Hey, so I just finished migrating all of the assets to Unity, and now, as you can see, it's working perfectly with URP, but we were having some issues with HDRP. But ideally, if you guys are actually exporting, I would highly suggest that you guys use URP, or Universal Render Pipeline, and it has a lot better results, and rather than using HDRP. So as you can see, these are the results that I have, but I have to actually do some minor adjustments by adding a bunch more lights where it used to be, and possibly also add a bunch of some ambient light everywhere when it comes to creating art. So you have to make sure that it has at least some ambient light to it. Alright, so this is what we're currently doing, just making sure that all of the assets have proper ambient light. Now that it's reflecting accurately and properly. And as much as possible, we want the assets to be as close as what we have in Unreal. But of course, it's not perfect, and there's a lot of things to be considered. But at least we tried our best to make sure that it looks still as close as what we have in the Unreal Engine. Now close, or if not, even better. Let's check out our sky. So this is actually a very decent sky to start with. And probably what we're gonna do here once we get in this area is we're gonna increase the lighting even more to about 200. Just so we have enough lighting everywhere. Perfect. Make sure we got some ambient light as much as possible. Alright, so once that we are happy with our results, what I'm going to do now is I have to make sure that, once we're here in Unity, the goal really is to make sure that every single thing in Unity is clean. So from the environment itself to the hierarchy system that we have here, and even in the content that we have here. So as you notice that every single asset that we have here is not really necessarily in one folder. So we have to make sure that all the assets is organized and not like as chaotic as this. So I'll be showing you guys how to properly clean this up, and please do follow this specifically, as it is very important to properly put these assets on its proper folders, and there's a specific folder structure specifically for Unity. So in this matter, since I'm already happy with the current lighting scenario that I have here, once we're happy with that, like I said before, when you convert your landscape to static meshes, we can bring it with you. But if you did not convert it to static meshes, then we're gonna have a problem. If we did not convert it to static mesh, what would happen is that we might not even have a landscape at all, or any form of land. So you have to make sure that if your environment has, or the environment that you're trying to convert has landscape to it, or any land, make sure that you press this convert landscape to static, which I told you guys earlier in the video. And then once you did that, then you can go ahead and press export. Even if it was clipping, it's not gonna get included. So once I have the result that I have, I'm quite happy with the results I have here. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select all these assets. So once we have all these assets, we're going to go ahead and select the plus button, and I'm going to go to create empty. So what it does, it just creates a hierarchy for all of these objects, and then now it's trying to ask me to rename it. I'm going to rename this object as environment and 3D models. So I'll be putting this hierarchy over all the assets that we currently have in the scene. So that would mean all the blue things that you see in this hierarchy right here on the side, I will be selecting all of them. And then once I selected all of them, I'm going to be dragging them in my hierarchy. So I'm just going to need to, I have to make sure that I have a little bit shown. Probably have to make this even larger if that's the case. I need to grab this out for now. I'll worry about that later. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drag this instead up here, so that it's quite near where I want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead, select them again. And once I have all of the assets, then I'm gonna grab all of the selected ones, and I'm gonna put it directly where my empty object is. In this case, it's gonna be the N3D models, and press open cannot restructure prefab instances. That's totally fine. I'll try it again. Alright. That's weird. I'm going to need to do that again. So now, when I dragged it, earlier I pressed open, but now I went back to the hierarchy, but now I already placed all of them in one hierarchy, just so we're organized. And we're going to do the same thing for everything here. So now we place all the 3D models in one hierarchy, which is good. I'm going to put this on the top. Now, all of these unnecessary bullshit that you see here, we're going to be putting them in one hierarchy as well. So I'm going to go ahead and select all of them. Go to create empty. I'm going to call this probably, what should I call it? Lighting. I think lighting should be fine. I'm going to select all of these things that we don't necessarily need, except the N3D models, because that's not that's just the main hierarchy for the 3D models. I'm going to drag it down to lighting, and now we have both of these objects on their proper hierarchy. So you have to make sure that our hierarchy is very clean. You don't want to make sure that our hierarchy is messy. Clear this up. Now that we're all set, the next thing that we're gonna do is basically making sure that our project files right here, the content browser itself, is clean. So if we go to asset folder, the main asset folder, we still have a lot of models everywhere and a lot of folders everywhere. So we have to make sure that we clean this up and we have a proper hierarchy system. So in here, we have our main folder, right? But I'm going to create a folder on top of all these folders. We're going to need to ignore the engine, since we're not necessarily doing anything to modify the engine. What we can try to do is probably put the engine under our hierarchy, but as much as possible, put everything in the same folder. So I'm going to go here. I might even not need this demo folder anymore, as we don't have any characters. So if you don't have any characters, just delete that. So next we have meshes. Anyway, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna one more thing to keep in mind, guys. If you guys have any characters on your migration, please do remove any characters or any blueprints or anything like that. If you go back to Unreal Engine, just remove any of those in the actual content, just to make sure that we don't include any blueprints, or we also don't include any characters because we're not planning to have characters, just the environments alone. So the only purpose that we're doing this is that we have to make sure that we're not migrating anything. It's just that we're just migrating the environments, the static environments only. So that's the only thing that we're doing this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that firstly, when we're trying to organize things for the store itself, we have to make sure that we have to create a folder and make sure that that folder is named Polypic Studios. So under Polypic Studios would be the name of the asset pack itself. So what is it named? It's called Stylized Cave Temple. So you're gonna need to make sure that you have that. So in this case, I already have that folder name. All I have to do is just drag it on that same on that Polypic Studios folder. So think of it like this. In Unity, they have a specific folder structure. Firstly, you're going to need to name a folder which is the publisher name. What is the publisher name? So in Unity, this is their folder structure. So it has to be the publisher first. That's publisher name, folder, and then underneath the publisher name folder, that would be the asset pack name, asset folder, asset pack folder name, and then underneath that is the assets itself, like materials, shaders, static meshes, and prefabs, which is the ones that you're most likely will be consistently used throughout the process. So prefabs and textures. So that's the whole structure for, at least for Unity. So you have to make sure that you follow this hierarchy from publisher name folder to asset pack name folder, which is, in this case, it's Stylized Cave Temple. And then underneath that is the materials, shaders, static meshes, prefabs, everything that we need in order for this project to run. Even including engine if you want that. Yeah, there you go. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm not sure if we should even include the engine, but it seems like we should. Yeah, actually the engine does not even have that much. These are just a bunch of content from the engine itself. So what we can do is we can just try to migrate these objects to the folder itself. So if you have textures, you put it on the texture folder. If you have shaders, put it on the shader folder. If you have static meshes or 3D meshes, put it on the static meshes folder. It's really easy. If you have cameras, it's not really a camera, it's just shaders. Just put it on the shaders folder. So just try to be organized with all of these things. We have 3D models as well. Put it on the 3D folder. Not that much really. It's not a big deal. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and right click this, and then I'm going to go to create. So since we already have the folder, the static meshes in here properly, the next thing that we're going to do is also making sure that we have other folders as well. Alright, so we already have the meshes folder, as you can see here, but this is not the mesh that we'll be dragging out, because if we do that, it's gonna be ugly. Or let's actually drag it. That's pretty far. Drag this in. So as you can see, it's I mean, it's alright, but it has collisions on it, so it's not really necessary for scenes. What we need to be dragging though is the prefabs itself, not the 3D models itself. So we're going to need to make sure that our prefab is in the right place. So if we have shaders, settings, and all that stuff, yeah. So we're going to need to drag all these assets as well. So we have a bunch more as you can see, these are the original 3D content. These are not prefabs. So all the prefabs is already in the prefabs folder, so we don't have to worry about prefabs. These are 3D models itself. So the difference between prefabs and 3D models, these are the original 3D models. So if you're dealing in Unity, it's not like in Unreal the prefab, we don't have a thing called prefab. In Unreal, basically we only have one thing, and that's called static meshes, and that's the original 3D model itself that you imported in Unreal, and that's it. There's no such thing as prefab bullshit. In here, think of it as prefab as instances. Like if think of it as if if in Unreal we have the material master for shaders, and the child of a material master is an instance. It's the same thing for 3D models here. So if the main master model is these guys, then what you're going to be using in an environment like in Unity should be the prefabs itself, not the main models itself. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to be, if you see this on your asset list or in your project folder right now, make sure to select all these garbage and make sure that they are in one folder. So we have a folder for that already. So if you go to Polypic Studios, like I said, Stylized Cave Temple, just drag it out and put it on the meshes folder. Done. Now we need to create a, if you go back here, do we have a textures folder? We do have a textures folder. So we have all the textures here. Just grab them and then put them on the textures folder. Done. That's it. Simple as that. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to select all of these things like materials. Do we have a material folder? Yes sir, we do have a material folder. But this material folder only has material instances. We don't have master materials. So we're going to need to create a folder called master materials. So these master materials will be holding the materials that we have here. Although these are material instance, because you can see it's called MI. So if you see a material called MI, then just drag all of it. So if it's MI or material instance by name, just drag all of it and put it on the material instance folder. But if you happen to see a name called material master, then put it on a separate folder. So in here, I'm going to go ahead and drag this and go to material instance. Yeah, drag this one there. Keep both. So this folder, when this folder is empty, it becomes like a different icon. You can just delete this. Great. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to need to deal with the stuff that we have here. These are just materials still. So we're going to need to drag this because these are landscape materials, so you might need to put this on the material master folder. So same thing with this one, material master folder. But if it's just M, it means master. Yeah, if it's MI, then it's material instance. So just material master. Keep both. Now if you have some static meshes here, put that on the meshes folder. If you have textures, put them in the right place, textures. Simple as that. So as much as possible, the engine folder needs to be emptied out. Shit. Grab. Okay, need to go back to where that is. Right. Okay, drag them again. Make sure you drop it properly where it is, and that would be in the material. That would be in the textures folder. So actually this isn't really a tutorial, this is just me trying to clean things out, so you just have to follow through and just make sure that every single asset is in the proper folder. So material instances. Okay, FBX. Okay, so we have some models here that you can just drag into the meshes folder. Have some material masters. And we got material instances. Keep both again. So we're slowly trying to empty out all the folders in the engine. In the main engine folder, we're trying to just migrate them on the same folder as where it should be, so that we're not migrating different folders. So just remove this since it's now empty. So we're now for prefabs. Now prefabs has all the 3D models that we need, so we just need to drag all of this directly to the stylized cave temple hierarchy. So now if you go to stylized cave hierarchy, now we have materials, meshes, prefabs, textures. Good. For settings, scripts, shaders, audio. Do we have audio? I don't think we need this audio. Do we need this audio? Fuck audio. I don't think we need audio. Delete. So anything that you don't need at all, just remove it. And also, so shaders, we need that. It's really important. That's what drives the whole scene that you have seen right now. We need this because that's the universal render pipeline. And same thing with this one. Alright, so all we have to do is drag all 3 of these folders on the same location. So that would be in a stylized cave temple. Great, perfect. Now, this one, however, the universal render pipeline global settings, we're going to be dragging this as well. If you see something like this, that the icon looking like this, just drag it to the shaders itself, or let me check where that belongs. Settings, actually, my bad, settings. So if you see something like this, just drag it and put it to settings where it should be with its friends. And now this one right here, as you can see, this is the executable earlier, right? So what we're going to do is, this is actually the map itself that we opened. So as you can see, it's stylized cave temple. So this is the where it stores all the level information. So if you were in Unreal Engine, this is actually the level map, or the map information. So what we're going to do here is we're going to, from our main hierarchy, We go back to the stylized cave temple where we have it, and we're going to create a new folder in here in the stylized cave temple, and we're going to call this maps. So just like in Unreal Engine, we have a folder called maps in the main hierarchy, or in the under the main folder. So under that main folder, we have the maps folder. So this is where we put the map itself. So we just drag it and put it in the maps. So now all we have is one folder. So just like in Unreal Engine, still we only have one folder and everything is there. So we have Polypic Studios as the main publisher name, and we have the name of the project. In this case, it's the Stylized Cave, which is the same which is the same asset that you downloaded from the engine. No, sorry, from the Google Drive. So if you downloaded some assets from the Google Drive itself, like I asked you, then you can find the name here. Just copy the same name over here. It does not have to be the cave temple itself. It could be the feudal Japan or whichever project that you tried migrating it to Unity. So as you can see, that's the folder structure. Okay, so it starts from the publisher name, the name of the project. Then under the name of the project would be the maps, materials, uh, uh, and under the materials would be the material master if it's um, M or any other material that's not MI. If it's MI, then it's going to be in the material instance, since it stands for material instance. MI stands for material instance. So as you can see here. So now what we're going to do, since now everything is clean, is we have to make sure that um, it is workable. So the next step here that we're going to do is we're gonna I think we're gonna go ahead and try something here. We're gonna need to install a plugin. So let's go and install a plugin. Man, we need plugins. Where the hell is the plugin? So I guess if you can't find it, then you have to um anyway, so right now this is the final state of the assets itself. As soon as you're done, as soon as you're done, the only checklist that I can give you is number one, make sure that the assets in Unity, number one, make sure that everything, the lighting scenario and everything in the assets look good. Like the lighting is good. It looks as close as we have in Unreal. Number two, we have to make sure that our hierarchy is clean. We have the main hierarchy where we put our environment models, and we have our lighting where we put all of our rubbish bullshits, like you saw earlier. Um, and and number three, you have to make sure that our project hierarchy system is good. So we have our main publisher name, which is Polypic Studios. Put underneath it is the project name, And then underneath the project name is basically all the assets, textures, shaders, settings, scripts, prefabs, all you name it. And lastly, we have to double check if the assets are is good, which is number 4. What we do here is we're gonna go to Unreal. No, sorry, Unity Publishing. And number 4, I think you will need this Unity Publisher plugin. So if you might need a publishing account. Give me a sec. You might need a plugin, so you also need to log into Unity as well. So create a Unity account with your company email. So I need you guys to make sure that in Unity you need to download the plugin itself. Not that one. Where is that? Okay, so you're gonna need to use the Asset Store publishing tools. So this is really important just to make sure that our hierarchy or any asset is working properly. So please install this while you are in Unity right now. So if you have Unity open, so open in Unity, and then press restart Unity as standard use. No, sorry, not that one. I wish to continue at my own risk. So just continue this. And what it does is Unity will pop out a tab for you. So this is now, you're now at the package manager. So from the package manager, actually, and I saw that earlier. Was it called package manager? There you go. So if you guys need to install the plugin, just go to package manager, and then once there, then you can see the Asset Store publishing tools. Now keep up and press update just to make sure that we are getting the best results. So import that package manager. Yes, press import. So just give it a little bit of time just to make sure. So now that you are here at the package manager itself, probably you have to try out the what's next after this. So now I guess you have to go to the package manager itself. Okay, there you go, Asset Store Tools. So from the Asset Store Tools, you have to go to the Asset Store Validator, just so we're making sure that the assets is very valid for usage for our store. So you have to go to Asset Store Validator, so press this one, and it will pop out this tab for you. And now what we're going to do is we're going to press the add path. So from there, press the Polypic Studios folder, the main folder that we have here, and then select that folder. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to press the validate button just to make sure that everything is clean. Do you want to save changes in these scenes? Yes, save it please. Now it will show you the issues and problems. So say example, we have the namespaces. So it will show you the problems, and you could try fixing it. So types of classes. So the following scripts contains types, classes, structs not nested in a namespace. So you need to put, so I suppose now we checked it, right? So it needs a namespace. So what we're gonna do is we're going to put a namespace through it as well. Go to stylize, and then probably we have to go ahead and find the code itself, the root script. So we have utilities, we also have tree. So you have to make sure um, that we have proper namespaces. So I'm gonna put CS underscore for all of these things. I'm gonna put CS on this one as well. So now we have proper namespaces. Now, of course, once we fix the namespaces, now because it's complaining that it does not have proper namespaces, we're gonna click validate again, and it should refresh. If it's still a problem, then it will show it's still a problem. Following script contain types. Okay, then probably I should follow the name, probably. That could work. Let's just try to follow what it says. Now let's go validate it again, and then let's see if that's still a problem. No, yeah, that's still a problem. Okay, probably because it should be UTU. Okay, let's just try to follow the naming convention. Anyway, okay, so if that does not work, I don't think we need a script anyway. Do we need the script for something? I don't think we need this. What do we need this for? Do we need the script really? I don't think we need a script for something. So, um, I guess you're fine without the script. I don't think it needs scripts. Okay, so I guess the only thing why it needed script at the first place was, let me see. Okay, so probably because number one, it needed scripts because it needs, um, especially on the transition side, when you're transitioning things, it needed a script or something. But if you're just I don't think it we need that script anyway for anything. I don't think that we have any code to use. So we could have just deleted that. So please make sure the shaders inside your package do not have errors and compile successfully. Yeah, I don't think it has errors, does it? Okay, I guess let's try to compile it. Okay, so warnings are good. I mean, warnings are fine, but as much as possible, you don't want any errors. So warning is fine, but errors is not tolerable. So I guess what we noticed here right now is that warnings is okay. You know, in terms of like work wise, like we have 24 that has passed so far, which is already good. However, warnings, these are just really minor things like check documentation if your asset contains any code. Um, the namespaces and all that jazz. These are just really small things. So, um, as you notice, I don't have any errors. It's just warnings, so it's basically just good to go. All right. So from this, once you're finished, then make sure to go ahead and export this out, or actually just go ahead and close this. So I'm gonna go ahead and close that. And what I would do next is I would go to where I would go to the drive where I exported it out. So in here it was the Stylish Cave assets, and then it was Public Studios, uh, and then you go to maps, and then that's that, right? So for me, all I have to do now is basically go back to the main folder, and then I would go and say stylized cave temple.rar. I would try to um, compress all of this, and then I would put it on a Google Drive. So I will be providing a Unity Google Drive for you guys. But once you have everything approved, like in this tutorial, make sure that you upload it to Google Drive and submit it. So please do be mindful with every single step, so that we can try to migrate as much assets as possible. So on your preparation in Unreal, make sure to remove any characters, to remove any blueprints that we're not gonna use. Just make sure that the assets, that all the thing that we only have in Unreal is the textures, the meshes, textures, meshes, materials, and material functions, and anything that's just in 3D related or static related. Please avoid having any skeletal meshes in your scene. Try to remove any characters, avoid uh, VFX, and all those things. Um, okay. So anyway, so this is the final package that I have here. So what I'm going to do next is I'm gonna put this in Google Drive. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to Google Drive. So G Drive. You know what? I'm gonna go to my Google Drive. I'm gonna go to Drive. So once you're in Google Drive, you're gonna need to go to New Folder. Okay. So in here, I'll just send you guys a link. Let me know. So once you're in this stage of the video, ask me for a link. So I'm gonna call this Unity. Actually, I do have a folder already for Unity. I don't need to create one. Cancel. So Unity Asset Store. So all I have to do is just upload it here, the stylized cave temple. So once you're done uploading, then you should be sending the link in the Discord server. So if I were to go in Discord, please post your submission right in the submission channel, and then make sure to put a screenshot. So like everyone here, they have a Google Drive link, the physical 3D model itself, and a Google Drive link. So what you could take a screenshot of, it could be the environment itself in Unity, and just post a screenshot there and here, and then along with the actual model itself, the RAR file, and that's pretty much it. Make sure to compress it so that it's not heavy. So what my requirement is the RAR file itself, and never the just the folder. Don't just send me the folder, because that's heavy. That's 1.8 gigs. That's heavy. Send me the compressed version, which is the stylized cave ones, which is the RAR version. So if you go right click, it will give you an option to add to stylized cave temple.rar. So that the reason why we have to do this is that we have to make sure that it's compressed. Okay, so that's it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I hope you learned something. Goodbye.